House take note of the report.
The Honourable Shane Mallard.
3 minutes.
You can do it.
I need a lot more than 3 minutes to address this really important report. Thank you, Mr Assistant President. I'd like to address the report in my role as the Chair of the Legislative Council Standing Committee on Social Issues in the last Parliament. Today I speak on the interim report into transgender hate crimes between 1970 and 2010, which was tabled in February 2019. The terms of reference defined by this inquiry on the 19th of September were to inquire into A, the violent crimes committed in New South Wales between 1970 and 2010, where the victims of that crime was a member of the LGBTIQ community, and where the relevant crime was a subject of a report to the New South Wales Police Force, including whether there existed impediments within the criminal justice system that impacted the protection of LGBTIQ people in New South Wales and the delivery of justice to victims of LGBTIQ hate crimes and their families, with reference to case studies of particular matters including, but not limited to, Mr Alan Rosendale, Scott Johnson, John Russell and Ross Warren. And two, to the extent that past impediments are identified, how effectively have these been addressed by current policy and practices? And B, in relation to the LGBTIQ hate crimes more generally, one, what role the so-called gay panic defence played in the culture of LGBTIQ hate crimes between 1970 and 2010, and two, how the so-called gay panic defence impacted the delivery of justice and the treatment of gay men during LGBTIQ hate crimes, investigations and court proceedings, and obviously any other related matters. Mr Assistant President, the inquiry was to start as a reference point to the May 2018 report by ACON, the Aged Council of New South Wales, titled In Pursuit of Truth and Justice, and the progress made by the New South Wales Police Force in their inquiry titled Strike Force Parabel. This inquiry marks the first parliamentary examination of a deeply distressing time in our history for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex and queer LGBTIQ community. It has sought to understand the community experience of hate crime, and in doing so has given the opportunity for the stories of victims, the moving stories of victims and their families to be told, often stories of great brutality, tragedy and injustice. The committee convened towards the end of the last Parliament, and as such has had considerable time and resource constraints to undertake this important work. The committee considered 36 submissions and one supplementary submission and held 3 public hearings at Parliament House. These submissions were provided by organisations as varied as the New South Wales Gay and Lesbian Rights Lobby, the City of Sydney and of course the New South Wales Police Force, as well as many private individuals. The evidence contained in these submissions detailed a number of contributing factors, painting a portrait of an era defined by discrimination, stigma and violence, but also of the actions of those who sought to resist such violence in the community. Many submissions referred to the context of the era as integral for understanding of these crimes. The LGBT rights movement first began to emerge into broader public consciousness in the 1970s, following various civil rights movements that fought for rights of other groups in Australia. This movement was fighting for rights, freedoms and protections in an era where even the legislation was against them. I'd like to remind the House that it was legal to discriminate on the basis of sexual orientation until the New South Wales Anti-Discrimination Act was amended in 1982, and it was not until 1984 that homosexual acts were decriminalised in this state, and the gay panic defence was not overturned until 2014.
Order. According to sessional order, debate on committee reports and government responses is interrupted.